Me patcho me was so na. Junior had drink akra me pese me pe show bi ma no yes sir. Ompene.
Yo. And yeah mreno yaso. Na ya share your retreat na say ye nuaba Mary and obedi enim a facilitate your retreat na amaye anopay enti akara na waba no aba abashase enti ye nuaba Mary or you ready obaba be the program no enim.
Patcho mu fanche me. Yeah, more bia kwaba eba 2020 family retreat eso. Yen che ho no me pamucho mo ma yen si eti ase na ye mom pare. Ejapa ewie ye da wase efisa woni yen edi ni yie. So wahwe ye so papa de ekoso nyina yentimi enko asori dem nko hye nyina wa ma yenyansa ne adwen se yentena online so na yenhyiehie mu eno kyerese wo ye kese na wanim ne wachi obia enipo o kese ye eso chen amanama nyina enti na da bia ye pese ye somo no erade sabre ye da wase ni esrebone fache adwuma ye di nyina papa se bibi ekobone anase bibi eto echo wo ho ayesro pacho se fache ye efise ye enipa yesro se ye bone bebreba ya ye nyina de ye ka ye aiti awo de ye yense bi de yensa so ye ba bi de ye nansi ye bone awodra ye nyina papa wo erade awode bone che no ye nim se wo de be che yen na wate ye efi bone ho kra sabre ye tu ye dwumadi a aka nyina esha wonsa yesro se wankasa bedi ehene ewo mu na de ebeye bia enhye wo Kristo wudin kronkron animunyam yetu ye pastor ene obedi yanim ehya wonsa yesro se asama obeka no ma emfiw erade wo honhum mu unimdie mu na eba ye nchen a yetimi ede aboye bra sade ese na dankwama bi no wo ba ya anya raba Reni esra wo ye mpengina for ajenkopa Yesu Kristo dim. Amen. Me pacho yes special music and also your sister Ruth are you ready me pacho on for my special music.
This many about 1 minute to be me computer and a booty.
Me pacho tobo why? Sister Mpacha fe de yehu.
Sound never.
Me pacha de me tell voice there. Me tesa okasa yeah. Me pacha yete wonka.
Okay. What you sounding okay?
Me pacha nke kosro kakra bi kan.
Everything. We have come this far by faith, not by our mind, but by the Spirit. We have come this far by faith, believing in the Lord our God. Just trusting all the way. We have come this far by faith, not by our mind, but by the Spirit. We have come this
Yeah, that's a sister voice media. Yeah, I mean, sharp, say, or my and your mother, they say. Nipacho, and every nipa or de yame asem. A bebrain, ya papa, ya pastor, Pastor Amufa. Pacho. Pastor Isaac Amofa on the day and Nyame asem awie ebebrɛ a yɛde ebɛbɔ yɛn bra yɛn nkyɛ ho no yɛbɛfrɛ yɛn sister Mrs. Darko na ɔde yɛ team song no abrɛ yɛn mepakyɛw na no see ya na kyerɛ sɛ pastor what take it over that's it. Pastor, me pacha me say network and in your yinti, and you next yinti, Pasha. Over to you. Pasha, you saw on mute too, home, me pacha. Pastor, Pacha, you saw on mute too, home, yeah, and so on, come, Pacha.
Pachomote, sorry. Pachomote mene.
Pacha fed there.
Oh, Pacho you. You. Yeah, make up aha good. Mechiamu nyina we Awurade Yesu Kristo edimo. Mame me pamchem se me tekoi. Good. Pamcha fe do mo hono bibia. Hello, what's your for?
Me Pacha, Pastor.
Good. Me da mo asi say technical problems. My Mary why idea said it was here Jumedi no mama yenyina kwa ba ene yenu aba woto dwuma di kan ene de tosom yenu de tim song no mante ba kokora na enso minim se bi amote yede mo ase pa yeda me fasa akwanyo so ada agina mo nyina na mo ne yeda onyankopon ase wo ne hwesopa ne bambo a wode aboyen covid nyina mo 5 to 6 months ni yeda so hye ya dan mo social distancing ne other things. Nanso nyame adom Psalm 91 eye adwuma awo ye nyina ye nso na ode ye bekọ na wieye nkonimdie mo se de sitie bia eye ahosiesie na wo se ye eno na committee eboyen ma ye ahosiesie o sa kwan ye so de atwen Awurade Yesu Kristo na ansa no baba no ha bia ese ye famu bia no yetumi afam ewo nkonimdie mo utira nye ya na afi from your comfort homes and I say your comfort homes na wa relax na afi unya involve ewo de ekoso bia untie sermon bia kora fifiri other areas anyakopon asiesie ne mabi ede mayen tanya obeda bible no kora wunsua o mompaye onye fasting o mfa hwe na emwa wan kasa emwa wo ma emwa wa wukuno emwa wasetena so kristoni and these are the ways onyankopon use prepare wo eneme sedebe ya yebetumi agina ye na so na medja onyankopon ase wo team a wode nam panyefo so de amayem by faith gidiemo inkoto ana ye hia sabri na yede beso Awurade Yesu Kristo mu na fe kanya deche ade yakọ akwakodru okon awieye. Surely he is going to finish hard and completely and perfect wona wodo ho beto no so nyina wodo bedru awieye ewo nkonimdie mo na enomo ene ofaso so akasa kire ye wonye je bebre ye how bebre na enomo na obetu yemfo nkakra na anwumre awieye de ba bedwene ho no wo say conflict management in marriage se your relationship mo na say ya wade mo ye bo modern na fe how biara be sorry biara ye betume asisi ano kakra ye ntumi nyi conflict en free asetram completely essence o yesononko menso me yesononko sa no nyankopon abo ye ntumi and argue with God about that. And until there is bound to be conflict among us and within us, within our relationship. And as they happen, we need a common sense. We need wisdom to be able to deal with these conflicts and issues that will arise out of our relationships. And that way, by allowing God to lead in our discussions and whatever we do, whatever conflict that comes out of our relationship as human beings, two different human beings coming together in a relationship, all the conflicts, all issues that will arise, if we allow God, God will be able to steer us through. He will give us wisdom and understanding and patience with each other. Na aboyan ama your marriage, your relationship, a brosmen kama na fe a shot or no ankasa animonyam. Between a fire what yes so Eddie Kanya mesam Eddie a chere afoforo as the Sabbath school is leading us this quarter. Amazing. And indeed, why do we fight? And no, and Onyankopon ama yensem kakra minimum nyina ye ba besua na afo Onyankopon aboa yen ma fe yetumi e de abobra ese enefata. Memma questions time and it will be a question sir. Obetumi e de aba. I know say me wo experiential leaders and all of you are experienced. Those who are married, you are experienced in your marriages, not only theory or theoretically, but experientially. Onyankopon ma wisdom be and some patience be and some tactfulness be. Yet managing marriages and relationships in our homes, we can use those things to answer the questions that will come. So I'm not the only one going to speak. All of us are going to be speaking to help each other. Amen. And until yebabe ekoso marriage discord our dear mo eniyama enkoye fabre ansana wa woyɛ sononko na me nso meyɛ sononko a yɛbɛka bom sɛ yɛyɛ awarefo no fabre pa ansana yɛtumi adjust yɛn ho atumi de yɛn ho sisi ani papa ama yɛwadeɛ no ne yɛ relationship no abɛyɛ strong abɛyɛ perfect abɛyɛ successful abɛyɛ nkonimdie de ama yɛn ɛno nti ɛnyɛ dakoro pɛ ɛna yɛbɛtumi ama yɛ nneɛma no atumi sisi ani ɛbɛfabre pa sanse nipa mmienu ɛna come together baby a ofire ɛyɛ soronko baby a tete wɔ ɛyɛ soronko sɛdeɛ wusi didi ɛyɛ soronko sɛdeɛ wusi da ɛyɛ soronko sɛdeɛ wusi dwene ɛyɛ soronko na sɛdeɛ wusi yɛ wɔ nneɛma bia ɛyɛ soronko saa na media nso seteɛ ɛno nti ɛbɛfabre conflicts don't happen in a day. There are some factors that predisposes couples into conflict and into conflict and shouldn't see dakorope fabre pa and sana conflict a drubabia a heated pa yet near managing ya it to me identity mudieba na fe a do sayeba a do nyeba a di kumba na a di nyama bibriba and show yankopon animonyam na a near bi and a yabebe boboso ama ye hono se de na de saa ntawantawa de ni saa okonyi ne mentiase ne menteme ho ase na ankoni senti mempene no ede ba ye betumi ade asisi saa enema we kwan a ye betumi atena ye relationship ne awade mu asodwe mu couples are almost fighting all the time, they don't live longer. Kakrebi no mo yare asumdwe ne fie aniji ne fie and into body no ankasa is not receiving any help. Ebema body no agro adwene no ani akoma no de bia na ebo na afi ede yade ane ohaw ane amanuhunu ane eba ede nyama bibiri nsusu aso bibiri ane wo ane nti ewo se yebo mpa ye sabere ya yewo mu yi yede yawade nyina ne yamanu nyina na ekọ heaven study esi no awurade Yesu Kristo no yama no kwan ma watena yawade mu ena yede ekọ heaven se ya moa ama awurade ya moa yen sabere ya yewo mu yi a ne baabi yeduru ya na yawade ekọ achewachewa emfa ho so yesofo emfa ho so yasopanyin emfa ho so yasoreba you are going nowhere na emoa wankasa onkwaje ane nti de yebekan momma menum mienu yensom ye na afi yemfa mobra ese ene fata de ben niema ene predispose yen expose yen to conflict di conflict eba na ansan yebekọ eno so no me pase me define conflict said esitue say na ntawantawadi e wo yentam no esitue o say eye brebia eba individuals are in a relationship with each other and differ. Okunu no woyere, omo aware. Nanso omo eda soronko, omo niema bebre, we die ye soronko, we die nso ye soronko, we die ne nam ha, we nso die ne nam ha. And no ene de conflict eba. Me pase ebi a me fa ne se, me fa bi nye mfato ho. Ya ware ukunu pa bomu ayache. Wonso ompa bomu ayache opede yapoto na bia yahwe aguso ukunu so pese udi besi jaso na odi kosua betumo na afi wodi amane bi gumu na afi mu be yahwam na odi bia opede yache ompede ya abomu ayano yayo na afi yapoto no sa na de esi nanim wonso bia opede yache ukunu so pede yanoa na yahwe agu apoto yom sa na yamfa hwe kura nguso hwe nim udi fa je na tum obedi eba ne sa etumi ede or how any amanu hunu eba bikura body nkura de no wabubu mu mepe apem ana wakoto we emono kura no aye no ayi baako antare ni niema hudo bebre a obetumi aka ebe kire se ye difa ewo niema bebre mu a ebia ebetumi ede or how any amanu hunu aba good conflict definition baako no and definition 2 much better how I say the relational dynamics that occur when two or more people are in relationship with each other and differing ideas. Our dear mo and niama who do be a bar or barney bem or my worry dear. Nanso they have differing ideas, different ideas. They said you can't goals and yama is see so media my wadia my worry me passe bema no or domia anaasɛ me deɛ ma wade ama wore mpɛ sɛ me yere ɔdɔ me a na ɔbrɛ ne ho ase ma me anaasɛ ɔde respect ma me deɛ si w'ani so mepɛ sɛ ma wade yi me ma nipa nyinaa hunu sɛ yɛdeɛ yɛ nipa soronko nanso bia na akɔkɔware obi a ɔne deɛ ɔmpɛ show obi a wode wade mu no deɛ si w'ani so you want to show everything wo but bɛrima no na wo kunu no deɛ ɔmpɛ saa ɔpɛ no bɔkɔɔ or purposes frustrate another's ideas, goals or purposes. You see when you should be the opposite do who be na ukuno only the Nagin na hosa, or yet or also Nagin na hosa. O ko nanso only watchy, or chana and ye Sanima wunmina, and the Yakikan who are being to minka, and no, and the conflict eba ya sutinamo. Nations against nations, it may rise, nations can rise against nations. I wa ba mehie so adenti na abowura mehie mu eno ya hwene ya adeketewa bi na afi atwetwe okese okon kese aba na afi asay nations na community bebree ai edwadie ya hwene ya wasiseme etimi do hawo ne ama no hono eba ene ne ama hodo bebree sade ye hono se esisi ewo ya brabo mu ene ya asetuno mu no good ede be ne ama bi factors are a lead yen and as a predispose yen echo conflict mo ebrenunti metu amerika kakra ekire ope me powerpoint na metumi a share with you so mama sote na afa wodo email brema metuma send it. I have the joy to share with you na fe mo ato aso asua sa warefo na fe mo de aye adwuma unfulfilled expectation niema eba your relationship mo a etumi de ohaw ani amane hono eba ema ye entawantawa de ma yetumi yani maybe emphasis ndwe ema marriage no mo ebia na wo bibi si wani so ebia marriage de ye pase ma wade a me ware de me pase bia me ware wi a me ne me kunu ye tufiri bia ma me maame anase ba bia ebusuafo wo bebre na afia kope ba bi tena yenko a ukunu so de ebia nya no de sinani so ana wo yire onde ope ba bia family no awo so da bia bre bi ohia mo a obi beje no expectation bibi esimani so me pase ma wade yi de metimi ko school na bia me do PhD anase me do doctorate level anase ma wade yi de me pase ma wade yi mo no metumi eye biribi sononko bi ewo masetena mo ma wade yi de me pase bia me wo emma ba mienu miensa anase me ngo bakra ukunu nso de onde ope emma enkora ba kwa na mienu wonso de bia wadwene ni awo so ene niam ahudo bebre ne bi kra ebe wo sei ba kwa ana mienu ukunu pe ba kwa onso pe mienu miensa afi utra here na between nsem bebre ba from the other person and you wait and they are not forthcoming a predispose yen to conflict sanema worum nyina when your needs are not cared for or met and also when he ade bi ehia wo wade sere die bi wade bi da wakoma pono se awade amakomi me pase me dru saati bia we mo na afi wobehwa entumi ma opema ukunu ese onde oni ho mo ma wunyama no concerns ade bi a concern pa wadwene da so akoma da so ne mebo entumi trase ni twi ni pa anka but me giri sa mudi me achi with on the screen and those who doesn't understand our language, I hope you follow me on the screen. I am just explaining. I made mention of those words. You catch it, you know where we are going. At a point in time, I will also mess up and then we will all be together. Thank you. Concerns and feelings, Martin Kabi, Watin Kabia, Phyllis Awadi, Watin Kabia, Womu, me passe, me feel say yes, my worry. Na me dimu na bema ma ware you or jije me so or krakra me or domi or just say or mami hunu say me trust no and ni ma hudo bebre if they are not forthcoming e betumi de or how ne ma hunu ba debia no mrum na debia na ayema na support debia na otuntram kunu debia na otuntram wo yire ne ma hudo bebre afa perceived neglect adebia o pesa udru ho na afa anonso entumi ma debia si wani so na entumi. Love is just like a plant. Upasa ukunu do, upasa woyere do. Nanso obakwa awade no said the na mu si sha ase eye dating time no do ohunu kra no ofro no se mu gina baabi na bia mudi nkomo makwan sore na ogya wo kwan na wo so ogya ne kwan na afeje se mo antemo ho kakra mo ntumi ntena mo ware ye sade ni na agiago you have to nourish, we have to nourish our love each day. It is a plant. Plant no fifie no e so dodo ho e so twitwa ho se pass ko straight ya twitwa ho se de be ya ebetumi akọ straight fadie bi je ho se de be ya dua no betumi akọ straight na emom enyini na ending dying. We have to nourish our love for each other. Ellen White advises in the book Adventist Home, or say nourish each other. Ye bomodin na ye krakra ye ho na ye so ye ho mo bia na ye tete ye ho ase na ye dododo ye ho na afa etimi ma ye ndo no ye fe. Do not let the heart of the other one starve for love. Show compassion to one another. Mama ye nche ye ho ase ye nya atenka emma ye ho nya atenka ma ukunu nya atenka emma wo yire pe love o pa krokro o pa asiri ukunu so sa ompe oba na nimu sisu esimu debia ukunu so sa bema no oba no mpe bema na nimu simu debia adenti na ye dating na sa na woni na show opposite side no na afi ye be ware awade no wie no yaka bo mo wie no na ye jiri se titimudi entumi ma no wada no ho Holy Field, Bema, na fe, no way, na munukra, na one namno so, Uko be crown cra, Uko be crown cra, Niniama who do be a fe wenam ha. Why? For us say, Branham shower diano, all was going well. And the picture was showing, say, yes, we are on the same path and we are on the same side. We reason together, we think together, we agree on each other, on each other's needs and care and feelings. But now yawadi sadi nyina anyhow sani mamienwe can lead us into conflict. It is the same in the church. Se nipa bi wo ho na mo hwehwe biribi e wa asore no mo mpaso mo huna urade Yesu Kristo e wa asore no na nipa ko hwe omself wa asore no mo a may yesofo nti you show yourself, may your elder you show your eldership. I mean, position say was and so you do that. Na any panel or say it can lead to other things. The person may leave the church or otherwise. Stress and related factors, the third point, can also lead us into conflict, stress. And let's say evening times. And yet a good time to solve issues or to discuss issues. Because if you have for a jumaba, also for a jumaba, evening times are good times for sleeping. So we do away with stress and other things. If you call Jumamo or master being or time when he or boss be obin pewasam manema okoba. I was a fear bano or being your door, being your smart joe when you see be a dry when you're going to be a couldn't start to come, you didn't start to call and suffer through home, just say, sit at the time on bed, and you're sleeping. But if, say, a better working with Mabusiamo, and it's a couple of Omon Casanajo, Omon solve issues, Anajo, Omon find a good time, then I'm best stress here. No couples do also, and I don't know what will work in your relationship, do it, and the peace, but never conflict. Praise God for that. I support you on that. And into evening times, and into our stress on that, we message church more transactional analysis. And your concept to be based on the fact say, I will say you buy your home, you respect your home. Nay, kasa young when you say, or ye are bofrebi, and into a kasa trend say, or ye would be on it, frebush papa mukra, on it and who faso. I would need degree when I would degree into funny say, or ye would be. I would also say, the other side, and also say, what I work with school, Ukraine, no decan Babu, and I could find by why you say, oh, Caleb, you could tell who to be a good change to Beman Crown Fanny Yafi, Ukunu Crown Fanny Yafi, or Bushia be a film movie. But say a cassa. Now you who say, may you menenecasa, Mikra menenecasano, where ye will be a national mudaho, not obit me a reason with me, Name Bruno Medono. Now, for my respect, no, the beer would deny me. Near who say, well, outdoor to make us such and say, will be away, not more any, no more, and you'll be away aquada. A bebwa papa. See, when we cross each other, that is a potential for a conflict. Bema ne betumi akasa wo momi ada na akasa me ho te sa obi a me yakora. Do you know who I'm coming from? Do you know who I am? Who I am? And this abrofo no ne unu be bia me fire. Unu who I am. Ye mu binom to be abufuo ba ye kasa sa nanso ye ntwahwe. Excuse me to say. And not even whatever you have. Na ubetumi a based on ade atiatia oyere anase ukunanim oka bi ni ubi bia wo bi ni niam bi ni ofie bia wato wa brochire ha emfa unkose hwe eden adakuru bi ubeja ho eni ti bo oyere bo ukunu hunu no se oyo bi a oye ukunu anase woye woyere ofra busuam nsu fra busuam kasa kire ne ye na etumi aboa mede asomdwe ba. Local context also predisposes us into conflict. Well, it is bia we minister anase we teacher na transfer every baby awo anase we adwuma wa ha na bia transfer every aha ade akokuru fufuru bi so na mwatana ha momoni age to be onipa tana baby na nani gia na ofiri ho akọ baby fufuru a na eye ne den afa mi yakwa kwahya ase wo ho ne ho ne manema meka se bia mu di ho nkoma but bia bema no e bia oba na adwumanti e wo se mutuo na se bema na adwumanti e wo se mutuo na afa nkomodi mu no ba kon aka se me na nkokora Ebanesa, you kill that incomodino, you bring it to an end completely. It shows say a decision to move to another country. Minister was settled. Not more to say, if you cry and Quran school affected. Any one maniama, minion Sabanesa, Montomo Boas na Moncasa. Boko, no Munusamumi and way adults, and into Mocasa Cherabon Boko. And ne ntiasiama or chinabi and tiasebeba and addition. A true prayer and by prayer. And into say, don't kill the conversation around that. I'm not going anywhere. Stop. Don't talk to me about this issue. Don't discuss this issue with me again. And I will never sit down to discuss this with you. A banasa, a breaky bibia, na a predisposition to conflict. Good. What do you do when you come to a critical moment in your marriage? When you come to a critical point in your marriage or in your relationship, what do you do? A best suggestion, yes, suggest or say sit down at the table and talk to each other rather than reacting or fight. Don't go into fighting or react to whatever your husband or your wife said. Or don't fight. Don't let it lead to fighting. Put in place a strategy of how to agree in your discussion in order to help you move forward in the relationship. Find another time. Do it. Find another time. Put a strategy in place. I'm not going anywhere. I am staying put. You go alone. I will stay here. You come and visit. I will also come and visit. But moving to that area, I don't like it. Period. Don't discuss it with me, your husband or the other side. See about this out. Do not react into fighting. Place a strategy. Put a strategy in place. Talk to her or with him tomorrow or the next day. There may be a solution to that. You will be surprised that your wife who said, or your husband who said, don't talk to me over this again, will now sit down with you and discuss further with you. Do not bruise or get wounded in a battlefield before you decide to have a plan. Don't fight and reacting into unnecessary arguments. Do not fight. Muni battlefield, muni ring mo and I'm boxing each other. You are not boxers, the two of you. Matured people are. For the rest of your life, if this one issue, you cannot solve it, you cannot find a strategy in place to deal with it, what about the next one? Can you do that? And the next, because as you both live, bear it in mind that conflict is bound to happen. You see, dear, I been, and I itchy. And into Sabakoba, Momodin, Samobe to me, I solve Namotimi Akomonim, a Bebuamopa. Okay, dealing with conflict. Two models. Now, models here become what I mean. Sa kwame nui yɛbɛba aba mu bebree na ɛyɛ ade a ɛyɛ adwuma wɔ adwuma mu ɛne church mu ɛne abusua mu ɛyɛ ade a ɛboa paa 2 variables na ɔbɛnfo bi a yɛfrɛ no Thomas Coleman ɔno na ɔde saa akwanya yi ɛbaayɛ saa nneɛma yi ɛtoo hɔ na abɛnfo ahwehwɛ mu hu sɛ ɛyɛ true 241 let me quickly go. When we don't finish this, or when we do not finish this, or we are not able to finish this, we'll do it. We'll do the second presentation on Sabbath morning. And as I earlier said, if you need the PowerPoint, I will send it to you because we will not be able to cover all what I've written here because it needs a bit of explanation to get going. Good. 1, assertiveness. Say, Bruni can be say, or confident, or forceful personality. Say, or confident. I will kurumu wani yirimu. Sɛ ɔpaso ɔne ne kunu anaa ne yere tena se na bibi a obi ahwe obi a ɔmodi ho nkɔmɔ ɔmfɛre ɔnhyiro esan sɛ okunu no ama no saa akriti saa atmosphere no ama no ne yere no nso akriti saa de no ama no ɔyɛ very assertive or willingness sɛ ɔne ne kunu bedi ho nkɔmɔ the desire to really achieve and solve the problem with a motivation to do it this way or that way sɛ wonya obi a ɔte saa wonya kunu a anaa sɛ ɔyere a ɔte saa Minia na wawie bompaye momia mompaye se de sitie bia se de se bi onyankopon obetuma ye ne ono no de awade si ho oye master restorer and a healer na ono de peace ebeba ye nyina ye ntem if there is no peace a face cooperativeness your willingness to negotiate give up or to sacrifice in order to find a solution to the problem wo pe se ane mene me kunu betena se na ye decide we ho nkomo mene me yere betena se na ye decide ho nkomo ye tu akọ baabi ye koto fie foforo ye koto car foforo ye painting ye pase ye sesa ye painting e wo dan ye ho ye pase ye koto we ye pase ye man se ye pase ye de man no ekosuku se ye pase ye se sane mene nyina o ye willing se one ne kunu na yere betena se ene ma bi wo ho a obegem ama somdua ba ene ma bi wo ho nso a obe sacrifice o de no ho ba for de ne bia ne kunu kura friend say wo de bia wagimi ana say wa say wo de me yere de me fan easy me kunu de me fan easy no entisa ne mo bono na fe da Nyankopon say wrade me da wase ma me kunu a oche mase me da wase ma me ya oche mase mo ase na de bia ye wa asomdue ebeboa ama edi awade na ko animo afe 5 stars based on these 2 variables the 2 variables no na 5 stars be akwankyere 5 bi a yebetumi afa so a yebetumi de asomdue aba na eye brofo ana ya bobo no baako yebeba aba mu baako no or say competing collaborating compromising avoiding and accommodating ye solve ya setero mu ntawantawadi a eba kwan eba fa so a yebeye no ana ye bobo so yi yaka assertiveness obi oye assertive obi oye cooperative or willing or assertive or confident say one na ekunu ana yere betena se na afi omudi na mesisi animo aha good avoiding yemfa brofo kasa bako gina ho say avoiding it's a person who is not assertive at all and says I have nothing to do with you or take part in this process I don't care ukunu ana oyire bia avoiding kunu nse ni bebre mpe nkomodie oyire ana okunu ebia na eye nesu ebi nso ho so a na se de be ma no city ana oba no city enti de bia yehia eye ntokwa ani tie ne oba no bobo na adwene pese I will avoid my husband I will avoid my wife and having communication with him or her about certain issue oba avoid because opaso avoid the problems opaso avoid maybe obe give up and also obe sacrifice it because he or she doesn't want to and until oba avoid it the issue will persist when such things occur only the that's what can say I don't have anything to do in this process it is your way the person you be here I don't care but me nuanam sa na be boy wa de mu ana wan care na ochina to anya oba be care you need to care today and sit down with your husband or your wife because you cannot run away out of the problems that are arising and as a conflict in your marriage. You better say, would obetena se no kunu aso afi collaborating. This person who is not assertive, it's not assertive, but it's not willing to cooperate. Obia only confidence. So on any ebetena se only kunu ebetena se onya willing. So only kunu betena se collaborating. Onye assertive kra, and he or she is not willing to cooperate. A person is usually beaten up and will say to you, "I need sure as you wish." Of course, it's a person who is given up probably because of conflict or multiple exhaustion of experiences. And the other person comes to a point of saying, whatever you say, that is the way it is going to be. Please, you know there are issues. But more than peace, ubenya wo yere anawukun attention. Even in that, bompai mo nyanko mo abotre. Fasa kwan we so nye bibia emwa abusua no later on akwa be regret bra ukunu na wo yere beti ase so no tena se cancer issue no. Essence one train ntina koye utrome ka koye de we yenti. Brebi na fe sani ma aba asan ababiti on you. Please, this person is not collaborative at all. Unyo ba ne bema otisa problem. Be careful, be patient enough, and wait. It's a very unchanging circumstances because the person has lost the desire to say anything because it is not profiting at all, because always it is put in his or her way. I nipa no unprofited, said na me di kan no. De bia one we kuno we yiri din koma go away as a man. It doesn't go on the other side. The beyond should be a cut or ban away and cut the other side. About the Beman, he will not be willing to negotiate or to speak. Oh, the desire and the willingness to sit down to speak with his or her husband. And into mestre, na yenya collaborative people, na yenya avoiding. You cannot avoid, you cannot continue to avoid, you cannot continue to be uncollaborative. Marriage, you know, it will hurt the marriage, it will hurt your future, it will hurt the children. Now, TikTok, Bobanwano, na ankorema, na dakrubi, a bit sweeping away. Bomodin, na Momodin say, Bubetum Huase, a bebuapa. Obi or competitive. Be a competitive. A person who is very assertive and not willing to cooperate. Only dear Obetuno Atanase, I know a dinkomo or willingness or your confidence or but where you're very, very competitive or doesn't have the ability to understand the other person. Is the person who is very ready to fight every time when it comes to a critical situation. They are very willing to fight at any cost. Or you know, there must be an explanation as to why people behave this way. There will be no happiness in this marriage or relationship. Unya bema ana oba otesa oni dia or your bossy, very competitive. Adiana ekete kra, or not going to say obetaking a share. Obehunu say you don't go winning smoothly and I say easily. Now onobe feely you will not say will give you in too much and I say easily. Utanya obaka fast someone about now feel wasandi be your problem. The chances are that you are always right is very small in these circumstances. It's always good to work with each other. Not say about working with each other. So when you be or you're competitive, ukunana or you're competitive. Miss Robupi, moving yabotre, am I don't be a competitive husband or a competitive wife. It will not help you. You will not gain anything from it. Calm down and reason with your wife or your husband. And even in Yania Manum, a bebuapa, Tobiasi tea manum say, where they are coming from? Women are competitive. Now, DPR paso winning in the presence of your son or your daughter. But you don't put yourself in their shoes where they are coming from, the struggles they're going through, and the point they're also making. You need to listen and give in sometimes, and then help them, assist them, and place them on the right path. Being competitive will not help you. Compromising, this must be the ideal way. Basically, the two comes halfway in everything, willing to compromise to a certain way in the middle way to find a solution. Obi a wɔyɛ compromising, unye kuna, and now wɔyɛ compromising, very, 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 very good. Okwa suddenly when you're bored, you're compromising. We agree on certain things, and then the church keeps growing, and the church keep going. It makes the members happy. But ukunya competitive church border, the pia na omutana border hours no one issue because your individual interests and personal connections in the church. Such church is in danger. I was say Asono must be rid of all these things. Na Asono Asia, we are doing God's business. We want the church to succeed, everybody to benefit. And the plan of salvation, everybody has to be saved. And until we make decisions that will help each other. Nekoye competitive. KCB should be better now. But if you have a compromising board, they can make decisions easy based on the Bible and the manual. And then the church will become a flourished church. The church will grow, the Holy Spirit will dwell in that church, and Christ will be the leader of that church. Say, sir, not a problem. Sani awadi munso, mummy mo nyakopon kwan. No one ye sir. Ye compromising people. Good. The better way acronym. And into better way no ye befa. Na ya chirichiri mu niema biblia. Ebetume aboyen ama yetume ede ya wadi and your relationship and also acronym. Yem say about 252. Me nimu de say campus me disi. Now for me we are me mark questions. By 3 o'clock pepe. Yem say me time here 2 o'clock to 3:30. And it meet me ama ebre better no na be ne de before. And I feel empathy, and I feel T, your target, and another T, your time and place. I feel express, and I don't know your historical or hysterical, and I feel win-win, and I analyze, and I feel why a yoke. Sanima way na the better way to solve and to manage conflict, and I yeba become and until better Proverbs 17:14. Proverbs 17:14. My trainer waha. I say the beginning of strife is like what be water, what be a stream be now for the power rush out. I say therefore stop contention before a quarrel starts. We try at the end to be say one when ye assembly what can feel one but actually and also actually be now so the way you shoot it we try now be no sa at the onye and a marriage no more. Onyansanino David Otuyanfo say hwene ye stop sa de no ansa dwene ho ansa na wakasa dwene ho ansa na waye biribi ana mo bia wotu bia dwene ho me yiri ho na be obadwene say me ku ho na obeka say me hu na de no be dwene ho ansa ansa na waye eye better pa sense obetue ensuwa na afei ebe flood your family na afei ede wo seye ani amane ho no bebre wo tanye ya bia akoda no na emwa and it better dealing with a certain issue. Sometimes maybe someone say, do I actually know my wife or husband well enough to understand how they think, react to certain things, idea, or what importance would that be to him or her? Some would bano. Unim ukunu pa, what wo yira say, unim wo yira say. Some would be kind of idea pass when we yiri discussi. One who know, kind of faswa or think and answer or react to certain things. So unim ni sa na ebe buawo ama wo hunu de bia kwan bia isa wo ne wukunu na wo yere efa so kasa any bre bia isa wutime efa sa asem no ba. Do I understand why my wife or husband acts this way in a certain circumstances? I didn't know wo yere na wukunu de bia na oye niema bi na okeke kansem bi na afa asa onche niema bi ase na afa asa niema nkoye ewo munkomodie mu wadwene ho wa hunu tenase na hunu wo yere pa menuanam eye pa se ye ware wi a ube hunu wo yere na be hunu wukunu eye papa ani nti ani ye ba Yesu Kristo nchen e wo se ye hunu Yesu Kristo ye hunu ye na ye hunu de wompe ani de wo pe Bible no waka ni nyina ewom se de be hunu Onyankopɔn pa Yesu Kristo kan o se ye ne se obi be hunu awurade to know God is this and that ani nti ehun hia pa know your husband and know your wife montena sesa sua wukunu hwe no ne hunu de opɛ ne de ompa niema bia wodi di nkoma de oyefa ho ne de onyefa ho wei ebeye interest na twebo asem wa ne hu hia wakɔ adwuma aba wahunu niema sisi wadwuma pasa wo ne wukunu ka ho asɛm ono emfa no ho de ohia ne sɛ waba no no aduane ama ne de no obedidi na afei wakɔ wura de no ya hunu wukunu hunu woyire ansa na wakɔfa adwuma mu nkɔma aba ma what throw off sa said on dia na so wasɔre afi baabi otekra ama wonimo atwa huno me kunu de on pese me kɔ adwuma ba me ne be di nkɔmɔ anase me kunu de on pese me ne te hɔ a metena tana na so na me de me na betoto ne na ho na me de me tire beto no so anase me de me nsa baba na ase me ne nante kora ma so ne nsa obefili sɛ ade o pɛ me dodo na ase o do me dodo hunu sanye ma wonu nyina tudu kunu nante a won so ne nsa ma ko ka sɛ o pɛ me dodo na bia won so ahaw asɛm diketu bia ne haw. And know your husband and know your wife well before you start a conversation. It is the best way. And answer the element here is common sense and wisdom. Apply wisdom and common sense. It will help you in that. So then you apply wisdom and common sense. We can predict a conflict. Say on say bibi besia ubehunansa or more volcanic eruption ebesia or mutimi predict no. Or my machines or maybe share form na fe tsunami. Isusi ye wo Japan ne mama ye nema bia ade bi ye bibisa ade ne timi ba bench le say tsunami ba besi ene ti hunu wukunu ananso say hunu wo yire ansana what start conversation be it will be in your best interest na ebeboa wo help ankasa wo obi asem ha wo akoda wo na ubenya stress ubenya depression and you will die. Your life will be miserable in the marriage and relationship awon me time no elson aka 1 or 2 minutes me pass me 30 minutes ma questions and answers e kakra yakan ho. Empathy is not always an easy thing to understand each other given the fact that we are created differently. As I earlier on said, men are men and women will be women. There is no confusion or wrong that God made us this way. There is nothing to add to that. Untimi fa hwe nka ho and nipa bi no mutimi change or mo bobia no mo bosu yende yente saa onyankopon waboyen oba ane bema saa no onyankopon boyen na waboyen nyina so awo kwan hodo so bebre yenye the same anu nti ti wukuna sef o kasa fa ho hye wukunu ehwu fa ho hye wo yire ehwu be an empathic person to your husband and to your wife. It will help you a lot. We get into much conflict because we lack empathy. Empathy is something when you try to at least understand the other one. Odo ho hye sa ni pakro no ni hwu mo ama ho se me yire ofili sei me kunu ofili sei bi kra esesika ekọ ukunu efie ne ma me yare ne nuanu mu bi ne woni ma niema na o ka se ne ma me yare yem fa sika nkoyi enko hwe na yare sei sai na ukunu be fili sika no amo save bom no enu bi na ese ekro mu de bibia bom mu de mu ni different accounts bia be ma betuma yi sika akọ na so nso betuma yi sika konti esa mo tena se na mo fa adwene wo bibia ho every slightest thing or a smaller thing esa mo fa adwene na wo fa wadwene mai na se ututu ahye dai se owuo bamu a obeka ne sei afei na obepa ukunu cha na se wo yere chew anasa ade no esa mo di sika koye esei a afei na obepa chew na obenu ho nuanom fa ohun hye uyere ana ukunu no se de o si fiele fa connect emotionally versus hostility. Hostility de enye twema mentwe mempene wo pasa wo wen ono so pasa wo wen. How can you survive in that small space amotiye? You say you're connected with each other emotionally. The goal is not to defend personal agenda, but it is to solve the problem. Once solve a problem na ba beto hono. To consider her or his needs, considering our mutual needs in a respectful way. We do all these things in a respectful way and not in hostility. Your nations you're fighting over borders, you're fighting over other natural minerals or whatever. And so we don't end up in hostility. Hostility will not help us. It will tear us apart. It will affect the children. It will affect your future. It will affect your salvation. It will affect your health. And so do not be do not be a hostile person, a hostile husband, a hostile wife. No, be emotionally connected with each other in a respectable way so that you can deal with issues, you can solve conflicts, and then you move on together. Mpanyinfo, me time no, me my questions and mpanyinfo, speak to me before I continue. But your more dream say.
You know, also for say ube to us or with me to us. The time in our audience, and you say you shouldn't be.
But you, anyway, menfa back on enka ho. Okay. Always, you have to be respectful. Respect your husband. Respect your wife. So see ya ten, so see ya tia for so ya tuntum so ya kokko. Respect baby ofiri baby a. Ehona Nyankopon e de ne firi ya. Ukofa no anaso hu a motena ase. Respect her, please. Respect your husband and respect your wife. Twima mentwe emfa wonko sihwe. De wo bia ni wa abeje wonkwa. De wo bia ni wa abeje wonkwa. Na de wo bia ni ho betuma de wo ho atoso. They will fail you. They will fail you. So respect your wife and respect your husband. There is no excuse not to be respectful, to be disrespectful. To me, because you are disrespectful to your husband and disrespectful to your wife. Do not make a statement about the other, even in disagreement with each other. If not, we cut off the cord of respect to each other. Please, always respecting each other. Put yourself in that person's shoes, your husband or your wife, and feel the same way he or she will feel. Think about that, reason about that. Connect to God and pray. If you cannot pray, then stop. Be a prayerful man or a prayerful husband, please. In that way, when you subia, would be do now be respecting. Now for the asumudie, abasid will be a city bia. Disrespect is when you try to become selfish and say that my opinion only. It has nothing to do with the problem at hand or the problem that you're dealing with. Disrespect. When you are disrespectful, you try to be selfish and say that it is my opinion here only. What I say goes. And you have to follow me when I move. When I move, you don't say anything, you will not go. No. If you do that, you're becoming selfish. Listen to your husband, listen to your wife, and both of you should reason together in a respectful way. If we cannot pray, then the intent of solving a problem should stop. If we have a problem and we do not or cannot pray about it, then we must stop trying to solve it. Prayer. People have issues when it comes to prayer when we say we must pray. Oh, because yeah, he has. But prayer does so many things. And not just say you want to Yankopon so na ye passe say the city be asa asem no so asa ye so ye passe Yankopon boy no so for because ade bi one way a e so kete e betumi trigger according say what BF stream said the Proverbs kind 17:14 kind no utanye ya ade kete na fe ayese kerosene and then it spreads to other parts of the relationship na abaye kanka at that relationship no na ebe semo and into we must pray. Prayer. Be a husband of prayer, be a woman of prayer, a wife of prayer, and both of you should pray together. Family that prays together, stick together, and they are able to solve issues in their relationship together. You're the best medicine to take. Prayer. Always respect your husband. Always. And man, you pay respect. We crave for respect. We yearn for respect. So respect your husband. Mani muso ye bema. Fani ni diemano. Fano ne headship no. Famano. Na we yene sa onos be respect you back. Obe do be krokro. Obe so mo. Afenso mema no so emano they thrive on affections. Do it and you will not lose anything. Respect your wife also. Brown semano. Don't be bossy. And be your own man. It will not earn you any degree. Good. Give me 5 minutes more, and then I'll give 20 minutes for questions and answers. Target. It is a very intentional word, but a very important part. You must target. You must be you must target. Okay, let me continue. Intentional work. Be clear about your intentions. Example, I have a problem and I need to talk with you. A man, so ujini sa problem be ewo abusua mu a anasa woni wukuno ena wo yere ntamo. Target that problem. For any such problem so. Now for catch wukuno say, I have a problem and I need to talk with you. Anya ba bia na ekeka kansam. Asore fie kura na okeka kansam no. Na wo te say na bontene kura na wo tuntram wo yere na wo tuntram wukuno. Nipa ni mukura na wo yesa me ma no. No, speak to your husband, speak to your wife alone. Abebo papa. Or say, deal with one problem at a time. Don't bring confusion to the problem. Let the problem be. O pasa wo ne wo ukunu di nkomo ade ba ko bi mienu bi ho. Emfa mienu no mom. Ne mo ba ko at a time. Be a good targeter. State the problem briefly without getting into details. Now, remember example no ha. Afa one sentence strategy. Adopt one sentence strategy, one problem at a time, and state the problem briefly. Can someone briefly? Actually, we can now yere. Maybe my example note. If I have a problem or something important to solve, I make a sign, raise a finger up. Then, or yere no kuno. I was so hono ne sape or stop the way you be a no man yere and answer ni kuno attention. A important part. That means that the other partner needs to stop right there to consider it being a serious thing and have to seriously manage the situation in a meaningful way. Ubetimi do wani kra ma wukuno sign. Ama wukuno ehunu say, oh, issue bi apaso no ne di ho nkomo. Ebi ana kwa akoye public ana say efie de ubetumi aka, ubetumi apagya won sa, ubetumi aye sign bi a wukuno ene wo yere eti ase. Minimum couple bi a omu deal with this sign no, omu nyemum, but they have other sign languages omu yapana very effective in manage one pamasua ne maybe be free won ho. Deal with one problem at a time. One problem at a time. In conflict, people bring one problem upon another or one after the other, and that leads to making the situation worse. Or the way so, and the people who are on any back or any cook or cancer when a crown you know about concert so not woman crown confused. And that's why I'm can confused. I do not know baby. No, one problem at a time. We answer, but my effective. Conflict or manage conflict. Limit the discussion to one problem at a time and be very specific. Be very specific. One problem at a time and be very specific. One sentence strategy, no, maybe my example. This means I have to sensitize or put my problem in one sentence. Your school, no, there will be a friend say one sentence answer. And now say a passage, be half a passage, answer to a long question. A year and near material to your home. There's a question where the need to your home or maybe and maybe to the now so a question home. Say, problem not is but more than not doing who answer and son what is idea at you. It means you have to clarify the problem in your mind before saying it. One sentence strategy. Or see, we are always driven by emotions and upset, which does not help us to sort out problem in our minds. It's answer what emotions into. Emotions now they can overcome board or for kasa with emotions into sometimes your problems on the instruments of women or kasa with emotions. Not all problems and I bet you kasa they attach emotions to it. And I think so it's not someone how we're upset about it. And into the way you say it, becomes a problem. Now ukno on no one that or you so on one that wow. Short and concise, do not bring out the whole file. You fight, you don't solve anything, but a waste of energy and a time. Or fight it, our issues, you waste your time and you waste your energy. You go nowhere. You come back and swing back and forth. And well, and into one sentence strategy examples. Who are some Annie, and I said, Mira, I have a problem to discuss with you, and it's how we manage our finances. One sentence strategy na make a me. Oh, medofo, me pasa me no din komobi. Na ene say e kwan ya faso a ye yusu ye sika. Oh, na be ma na boni trinko na so ba na boni trinko. Na fe ono watena se. Na meka saade no so how you going to be solving it? You're going to be discussing this. And I say, Annie, I have a problem, and I would like to discuss with you about how we discipline our children. And also, for example, Annie, I would like to discuss with you my relationship with your parents. One sentence strategy, simple and concise. Put it on the table, announce it, and follow it. And it will continue. And now they are to table, and now they are catching you. In fact, you be a message of home, one problem at a time. Don't be driven by emotions and upset. Calm down. Pray for a clear mind and a clear heart before you sit down with your husband on the table and your wife to deal with issues. Sabbath morning. But your questions and answers. Mr. Mupi, I went 1 minute over. Mr. Mupi, 20 minutes or 20 minutes for questions and answers. Where we have come to. Please, these are questions so far, baby. The discussing we now.
Me pacha or question be able to me a peja on sa raise your hand we no peja na ya na yama wakasa me pacha.
Pacha what question be able to me?
Okay.
I raise you on sana for yama wakasa.
But okay, let me see. Okay.
Mr. Mankwa, Kasa.
Yeah. Me didn't the so far Mankwa. Minia so far that was Unyamena muso ama ode ensem etisi abre. It's really a very good topic for discussion. That's papa. With the idea about could be a communia so for the no.
Good.
Me ba abrochira idea me hu pa ne se idea de ntokwa ba ware mu eyesikasem. Sikasem pa. Na aya na sikasem ni jina enkwala oba na ukun ede wo ma ba wiase aban emma sa enkwala ni sika na sa enkwala sika na ikogu emma no eni no man account na ikogu account no ma na kwasem pa na se to da bia eja no enim nkuntabuo bia efa ho Obana de ne pe yusu sika ni bia sania ope. Bemei na itua bills, grocery. Ene de keke ka ho. Nti ofi se woni ukunu ete saa kwan so a. Na o yesa de na bema de be shi ne mu. Se de so for kana ede entokwa beba.
Yes.
So
yes.
Say we bon paye there, but ntimi nyi sa ha no mfiri wo. Ma me why to say prayer action prayer. Etienne say sisan suban na ma ukunu ehu sikasem. Sisan suban na ma ukunu ehu sika aban edema ankwada no.
Good.
So na mo plan very well. Na enkata nema bi so mfa sika na nya japade e wo Ghana abra ukunu nim ho hwe. Me ebasa wana enka bi ma. Ye ka bi ma wa sister enye yie. Ese se wo sisan suban. Na ma ukunu hu se moye baako ewo bibia mu. So to da bia I hope some say you no manum because ehin na wo je wa futuo efiri abura wa ware. Obu ha wa ware so je futuo fi no ma me ho. Ne papa ho. It's a big mistake. A very big mistake. 3 days ago, I be framing. Also for me name kunu ye de ka. Na medwuma me ye no me pese me ye adwuma miu me pese me de ba akosie no na me de tua ka no nti o frame no wan ka chi na so mama Mami, Mr. Unu Kununtinasi. Miss of our catcher, it won't solve the problem. Maukunu who said a canon, what you want by Akusicano, what the big Piasaka. Rather than say the first point of contact by yourself for is a big mistake. Our four binum, as years of Mambia, our four binum, Martin binum to bonnet. And for to bonnet, Yama or Mawari Yogu. Intimin Kawana Sam, Ewasafunumu. So, into warrior, and he and I would do go foot to a free.
Yes.
And he now would do foot to a free. The first point of contact, because Matthew 18:15 to 18, no, it talks about conflict management. Nipano, unana them. Yes, sorry, ya worry some and now. If he say, in the baby betimi boy, sister, bra, ubi intimi wow. Ukuno, any betimi wow, soft intimi wow. Ukuno, ne betimi wow. Intinim dia, soft for the mayano, mayanfa, and yajuma. Mamibia, and maybe a channel castor if you catch them. Or then I wanted to 2 bit young one. Ni how you know, say, Omokwa, sorry, car. Papa no kunu eba papa ne si ebebie na yeri gate no na oni ne kunu enya asem kakra na so say won hwe asumasi said ye be mesi krokro na yeri meanwhile no say gate no so papa no ansi amebia ma me ne bia gate no ebati. That was the reason. So enti mi fire warrior and to 2 obi dia ho
Baby.
Yema enyimu na ho fine. Awofo a mutu mma efo bone wo awaremu nyai. I didn't shy. So for me that say.
Thank you so much. Also for Eric. I mean, shut up. Well said. Mama yenyai sani mai na MYA. MYA kra. Obaeba. Be ma ne ma ne papa kasa wo hunu sa ne yere ba no de afa baabi. Ono so sa MYA nkosehwe na sa wo ji wo futu ofiri wo na fofo na de ware MYA first person wo yere ana wukunu nso vo issue no with empaibo fasting abotre nti ase na nyame kire mo se mo fa nko baabi kura nkope akwankyere bi mfiri osofo ho a mo akọ osofo yeda wase pa paucho question bi ho bi o ana se
MYA Frank pacho
MYA
apega answer.
Ubi anso betimi de moaba yeda osofo ase pa brother Frank kasa no mente
Frank yetie wo pacho
pamcho se mote no mo hode a owi na ma kire mu biom amayate ne question no na se ne mo ano mente kura
Bacho bi mami ale
me pacho before person kasa obetimi akasa na me say Elder Frank enya problem on there, you know.
Thank you, Sister Mary.
Me pacho Ellen nie.
You, Sister Ellen, go ahead.
There are some folk and no crapa na. First of all, say the radina say ni miamea, and there might be brain no. And yet, day see a bit to me a solve. Ding in say, our reno. Your goal the same, and here na echo, your vision the same. And now one common goal. See now one common goal, dear. Why is there so many? Enyema high and I say etiti. Maybe more I cry me de buane say. Ningina say the focus is Christ. See we radia. Bibia e free nyankopon no e begina. Very simple. Say ma erade kwan e wo ya wariem your plans, your bibia ye mua. Simple obana na se bema no. Na sem den said den ya bibia ne ho Nyankopon ontumi ensolve. The only problem I yan say, ya na ye pese ye solve ya kasa ye de ye nim de. Any say bibi o ho education, any bibia ye nim and ye de solve problems. Yeah, Christopher, we have only one solver, and that's one counselor. Only Christo. Obia ni ho obeka obeba biem. Enti no me mo akakra no. Enti me say yenya one common goal. To say elder what can be say pastor what can be say nkwala sika. Okay, nkwala ni sika na won kwara sika na yeden. Ebia de ye nkra ye save for nkra na education. Okay, ne maame yenya ne saa nti wo de bia accounts ne mfantum. Meanwhile, more taxes now ma calculated together no. And ye di sika no eba. Nti wo hwe mo kra na enye necessary say ba ko no mu income. Me mom de saa na minim because your income no ye ba ko. Nti bia sika no ye the man credit education then na oba ne na di si abema no mpo onim ho hwe. So nti mo benya one common goal. Near one vision. Ye nyina ye say ye botaye ne say ye pray say ye beko heaven. And answer ye ma Kristo abedi ye family no mo kan a enyema beye mre asumdue beba na enimonyam so ebeka erade.
There was a pa sister Ellen, I mean shirawo omo ano. There was a pa. Obi apija ne nsa. Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying again, sir, if you can hear me now.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Right. A few questions. And when you are talking, you talk about competition and compromise. Yes. I didn't really understand your explanation, the conclusion you made, because compromising is that not at some point be a bad thing to compromise if you don't seek for better resolution? Because if you compromise, something can go wrong. It seems like, okay, if this is all you want to do it. Maybe that's not the right one. That's why we are two. That's why we need to go into details and find a better solution than just letting you go and do it. In the end, it can cause a lot of problems. It can cause financial loss. It can cause even sickness or death or anything like that. So if, as a two, if we keep compromising, for how long? And would that always result in a good solution? So I was a little bit concerned about that. At times, competition, healthy competition, can bring a better solution. Is that not the case? That's one thing I wanted to ask. There's another thing, Pastor, that has been bothering me. At times, I've heard so many preachers talking about, remember the say, you have to do this to them. Remember the say, you have to do this to them. Now, I'm wondering what role that Christ and the Holy Spirit play in our life. Because 2 Corinthians 5:17, when we come to Christ, we are new creatures. But can we still be in Christ and expect to be special and different in a way that at times create conflict? Can't Christ, the Spirit, help us to model the way He wants us to be different? And my third question is it important for one to change in order to accept the other? I come to marriage with a special characteristics of me, right? Do I have to change some things about me so that there will be peace, or so that my partner can accept me, or I should maintain who I am and my partner to make who she or he is, and still be able to create a conducive and compromising atmosphere? Because my TV parent say, "Oh, Mr. Sammy, and when I say I'll not change who I am. This is how I am. If you want me, take me. If not, then leave me." Is that good, or we need to make some changes in our character and behavior in order to let things go in? My last two, the small help. At times, I think, for me, problems that we have in marriages come from small things that we neglect. I'm not sure that I don't expect my partner to go and sleep with another man before I get angry. But that small thing that put this here, you don't put it there. Okay, tomorrow, put it there, you don't care, you don't put it there. That build up of anger, when it explodes, then we look at the explosion, but we don't look at what brought us to that point. And I feel like we take things for granted, small things, because we are human beings. Yeah, you know, say the insects that destroy the cocoa farm are not the big elephants. They are just small, tiny animals. But before you know, the whole cocoa thing is gone. So I think we should consider taking that small things, small conversations, do's and don'ts that people don't like. We should make sure we pay good attention to them until they become a conflict. Because when the conflict comes, the solution becomes so blurred because you don't know where to start from. These small things come and we don't pay attention. So when they develop into a big issue, then we are struggling all over the place to find where to start from. And then become problem. We can't find the cause because the cause are so many things that have been burdened up. So these are the things that I just wanted to bring to your attention.
Thank you so much. So you put before us or to us 3 or 4 questions. The last one could be, if I understand, a Moabi, but that is also part of the questions as well. And into opinion questions or the Amaya, no. Yenina, yes, Yadia, Mommy, for Yenina, Yanti,
Pastor, me pacha ba akwa pejanis and ke bet me afa ono ne the last one aka ho na nka ya ansa ni nyina preko na pacha. Na nka yenwe we no nipa last one. Auntie Debbie.
Auntie Debbie, pacha ya busa question na
okay. I think so mine was around I think when you began the beginning slide about expectations. And so I'm from my own or from our own experience when we were getting married, the counseling, I think I'm not sure maybe what can be done to make it more practical, because I think some of these things or issues are not really, like you are giving highlights and it doesn't go into detail, like the practical things that come up after you get married. Like everything focuses up to the day you get married, but then immediately after, like after your wedding or traditional marriage or what, it's like you have to deal with the things that come up. It's like, how do you even arrange the home? Does someone have to move from their location to another place? How do you manage your finances? Like you talk about them maybe during counseling, but it's all like high level. It's not really into detail. So as you come together the day after the marriage or in the evening after, that's when you actually see the practical, like the issues come up, and then you are like, okay, so what do we do? And so most people always maybe mention like the first year of marriage or the first 5 years of marriage is really a challenge, because you are getting to know one another. You are trying also to figure things out. And if you don't get good mentorship or have someone of accountability that you can trust and share your issues with, you might either be led astray or talk to people who would not really give you good advice, and it leads to the marriage to crumble. So for our younger ones and those of us who have kids, parents, how can we help our kids or the young people who are planning to get married, or how do we prepare our kids for future marriage? I mean, if God hasn't come by then, how they can, I mean, for the expectation parts, like how we can help them to understand the real issues, so that when they are met with these things, they will be able to deal with them because they are prepared.
Okay. That was
Hello.
Mr. Debbie. Hello.
I just want to add to well, Frank's questions. I just want to touch on 2 of them, if it's okay.
Yes. Is it an answer to the questions?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Not an answer, but a contribution to help his question, actually.
Good. Please go ahead.
So I will tackle it from the bottom.
Good.
With compromise, I think that now he was asking if compromise is a good thing to do.
Yes.
But from my perspective, no, I think that compromising doesn't mean that you are weak.
Yes.
It means that you understand the situation and you think that it is another way of solving it. Yes. So you say that, okay, instead of us solving it my way, we can still solve it your way. So I think I am okay. Let's go with your idea. That is compromise. But if I am saying, okay, it means that I'm not really compromising. I'm just letting you go and I'm not happy. But once I say that, oh, I think I'm okay, we can live with this, or we can do it this way, then maybe I'm relaxing my fixedness in terms of my opposing your idea. Then we can work together and then things will be normal and be successful. The other one is about the things which creates problems in marriages. Example is maybe in your home, you want things to be done in a particular way. You put something somewhere, someone takes and put it somewhere. And Brother Frank was saying something like this, which is very annoying because small things like that can create a whole lot of problems which may not probably be redeemable later in the future. But it is important that we will know what defines us as Christians and as human beings. We all come with personality traits which God has given us. Yes. And they come with positive things and then weaknesses. So the weaknesses allow us to continue to rely on God. But it's important that we understand what these weaknesses are so that we can work on them and be able to complement our spouses in order to be able to live successfully. So if I think that I'm the type who, if I put something somewhere and someone thinks I'm not happy, then it means that I have to either try to understand the other person, or if I'm the other person, I'll try to make sure that I don't put things at the wrong places for my spouse to be annoyed. And if we go to what Sister Ellen is saying, if we all have one purpose and are relying on God, then it means that we should be willing to work with each other in a way where it will be very, very successful.
Yes.
And so understanding our temperaments is very important. It helps us to go around each other and be able to live with them. The last thing is we can't change anyone in marriage.
Yes.
We can only change ourselves.
Wonderful.
So once we change ourselves, it means we are adapting to something and we can be able to cope and be able to live with other people. But if we try to change them, we will fail because it's only God who can change. We can only pray for them, hoping that God will bring them to the place where we want them to be and we can be able to continue to live with them. So I hope that my contribution helps Brother Frank a little bit.
It does. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was no contribution. Pamcho, and sister, Diana also a kind of expectations, practical aspect. She wants it. She wants us to bring out the practical aspects more. So the bit when you're going into marriage, the practical aspects when it comes to expectations in our marriages. Say opinion question is not the fourth one. It's a small things gets worse. Any the keke home. A true say. Near man no. Na free koy nneɛma si na etume ebe haye ebe gye nsɛm de bɛboa paa ne sɛ adeɛ no hyɛ aseɛ no aketenkete no ano ɛne wo yere ana wo kono ntena se na afei munni mo ho nkɔmɔ munni adeɛ no ho nkɔmɔ don't dodge it me kai sɛ me fa politics we example ye bi mram Trump by or say Obama ne Biden almost any could drone solve issues on the buy near man ketwani akesi nyina wa baba be omuni akoko mo hwe omutimi nya hwe to from say party they do nothing yenyina yemienu firi ba bi said opanyini di kakan no onyakopan aboyen esu no different yentimi nya ho hwe e wo say yeti esu no asemom na hwe kwan afa so a yebetumi adjust na afọ yetumi de ye ho asisisi ye ho anim na afọ yetumi edi nkomo wo ye issues bi e mo enniema nkete esa de pa na bible no ankasa so kan enu nti ehun hia se ade biara beto fom biara bet draw your attention to that say ebetuma ha ya wade no e wo se okono ene wo yere se be ma no kra na ehunu ya oba no twena dwene so oba no ne hunu be ma no twena dwene so ye se ma de money da fom mo hwe ne nyina me ma ni edide da so enu nti ade biara ugiri se ebetumi edi hawaba momoden na monsovo nya enyama kese no nko enketo ani nyina ehun hia pa said ya odi bibia to ha ebi e hawo obi afa esi ha sei na afi e hawo bia oyere akwakosi watade o shirt bi shirt no ye de ensa wohwa ye de ensa na betumi de ensa esi but wo de kogu machine mu de omo aguso ama atade nani apa utiranye ya na hwehwe wo musa na afi elidiko na afi e de hawo ni manhunu nyina aba ene man keten betuma bobodin umyemo modern na yensolve because na Proverbs 17:14 kan no say hweye na wa ma ade na kwankwa se susu a atue na afei ebobo afa marriage no mo ne man keten no utranye ya ebedru bebi no na yese susu a yatue na afei utranye ya betumi akata niema nyina so marriage no asɛ marriage no a entumi mboa nti mesrɛ sɛ niema ketenkete kra no ene wo yere entena se na mo ne ho nkomo enka sɛ oh we dey yeketo we kra dey oh we dey say it's nothing oh this is easy this is nothing na o yere nso ebi ehia no ukuno nso ebi ehia no don't brush it off don't brush it aside don't put it under the carpet and think say bibia is okay please sit down and talk. Aware form do mo nkomo no mo omo conversation no mo ye connected no etimi boa wo ma omutimi di omo nkonkomo nketwa na akese nyina mu na esi won ye nso and nti don't be like you are the man and so certain things be a ketekete bia wo kra de wo man to de wo fa ho anasa wo yo ba wo de bia ne ketekete kra de wo fa ho de hawo no e bia na hame de hawo no so bia na hawo but that doesn't mean say e was say ekro hawo no wo de hawo tena se na solve esra nanso ha no aha e bia wo ka kire wo kra say oh me brother bi yare o e wo fie aninti bia ye bompa kra bompa no bia na wa bompa no wura fi se wura ne fi ya bi kra ka kire no me dofo me wura ne fi bo ha e hye ni turumo ye bompa kra me ka kire me kunu se bi nwa yare o bompa man kra o bompa man mati mahunu pipa yo mati pipa eno adidi akoto baabi enti ehu hia pa e bia ya deketo abi budi bia en hawo nti entua wo hu nti no umfili but utanye ya ewa be ye bora ye to bowa wa hwe ya na ebetumi ede wahwe fom enti ye momoden na ye solve sa nyama nyina opanyin pacho wo answers wo questions no is it answered are you okay?
Pastor me Pastor Eric Pejane Sainti. I said yeah time now consulting ke betumi amani 2 minutes bi.
Yeah, Eric, please go on.
Pastor and me so from Ufakano. I really I have really enjoyed the problem. So so focus compromise in competition, not necessarily say adibia evo no we need to compromise. That is so person what say Yama or do any kind, let love be in the midst of the marriage so that we pursue where we want to go. That's for person or share. And moreover, no say ukunka say, oh yeah, they be no on par. I say we jai. When your husband complains in a certain thing that you are doing, he doesn't like, please, you have to discontinue it. Yes. And then the boy actually bu on adike to ebi na actually bu. Moreover, say ura wari mo a enema ukọ sofo ede wo famu no your friend the orientation. And no sign after marriage, and the rare instructions that you need, as someone said, until mommy can say warrior into, so that is the end. I say you continue na it means you and the brain tea, me person me we still in time. Let me shy.
So for me to make a sakra.
Pachai, when you bring us off your door,
Uncle, 1 minute, Pacho.
Mate. Did kaya make one somewhere. Sister Debbie, expectation.
Patience, Pachai.
Yeah. It's only our for do not share, so I saw for so I sorry penny, so I sorry ba. Most of the time, after dating, move together, move free alter and no transfer account. A bed of 3% being a make almost expectations, no me doing a home, said no moon. And time, sister. Nanuna said, Nipano, any mature now, and I say, or when the arbitra, and Nipano may be able to say, I saw more every altar and so grab some and some 6 months. I'm my because expectation on went to Yana Sadia, no one Mr. Bayano. If you are known, say, no, say, or educated, ninty, and I said, no, or air soft phone ninty, and as for airs of my to wait there, and I said, none of papa soft phone ninty, wait there, or a perfect wife and a husband, mammy. It because when somebody seems say, and you're workable, there's no way somebody are trying together. But Obwa, who between our work through it. And in just say a soft work, it be a compromise. Yeah, BK or Ghana. No, I say the settlement period no is out for a period of adoption, adaptation, and adjustment.
Yes.
No, so my adjusted to never be, or my adopted never be, no, my adapted to some things be, and sanity is a more cut for a expectations in the entire system of who said it. He said a woman and news or Tiana, my news or Tiano. South Weapon a coy and town cosa. But as a some of them answer, move work it through it with them pie ball and then compromise and it comes in again. Do a compromise. I do a bit of when you go, there is someone discussing, one discuss. So, and then a bit to me, I'm a argument about, but we've seen family therapy. The only can say, argument, but let your partner win the argument and try to be about when the argument. So, no, when you assume you're about, be free or no be free, and Koran be free. So, what try to be over when the argument now at the pass of a side and baby fee. It's the argument, I to be avoid as much as possible. And try to see about avoid the argument, but still, sometimes we are here. My partner, I went now some joy fee. You don't want to say.
Amen. Amen. Eda was also fed was say, Bia, ya boa questions, no, I know ye no, a cramp and for boy, my atias. Conflicts. You bet me I'm managing, I'm good. Say I'm managing yes. You bet me managing, I'm good with the help of God. Say you're managing yes, a bit me your worst, as say I did play. I know it, Momo Day. Said the penny for actually. Na ya Momo na yemfa, she shank and get away and find your juma. What in pieball? Na yabo tereno. Na apply wisdom on your copo by my eno. You bet me at Tanasi, my relationship on IFA. As of no months by a comma. Dear be Baba Toho, Safuna Yakateke be. Yan when ya na free as a funuache. Na free affected board decisions. Na as a funo edda jim. Uma bin to yen. Na yamon paye na the so as soon. Rather by Yansan in the between the solve. My relationship near Safon Swakoye, or Yesu Christo demon. Amen.
Pastor, yeah, that's the part. Say, our remu and some day, Cassie, dear Chen, and Kamisan Kababo Bear, 10 crananka in because a dorsal.
Saturday anopa. You better so. We are inviting everyone.
Okay. Now me kakra me fe film ne say. Aware de say no matter say there what say we pastor, say we ha obi ahia futuo. That be all the time no. Ye hia say be ya ebema ya ware no that be akwa nanim because wa ware ye papa wa na wasum edro inti pastor ye da se pa ewo nimdia Nyankopɔn e de ama wa wonso o de kyerɛkyerɛ ye sa eniema we nyina Nyame nhyira na ye da obi bia oba ye nso ase ahoho amaba so omo ayenim wo mo ye church members obia me didi so obia nyane de ti yesre nyame se onhyira so na yentimi mfanye adwuma sede ese eda sepa Nyankopɔn bo a ebo 6:30 amepam chow ye nyina ye besan abaso biem ye betimi amome emra earlier ye mra tembe 10 minutes earlier se be ya ye betimi ye be organize ye hu ye na that start because we saying ke starting in time on komo ya ye dem so ye time so nti ye da obi ase pastor Israel asenka obema ye closing prayer na ye de ye dwumadi na baby
Pamche mo mpaye ye Nyankopɔn ye da wase so otu yemfo ye nsane ye fatakora po yen wo yen na wade mu bo yen wo yen safo no mu na fe wama ye nyansa wama ye ntiase ama ya botre na se de how bia besia ba biara urade de ani ahwewo na yesua fro mo waboa yen ama yetume atotototo ye ntamu asem na ya bre ho ase ama ye ho ya bu ye ho ya do ye ho na ama ye relationship nso ani ye mfie aye wo soro bia wo urade betuma tana ye mu ani ya asafo no mu ama ye nyina ye baako na fe oba wo fa wo meyen so wafa yembi ya da wasempanyefo maboa ya mayate wasem yase so obi antene ho asistela yesre se ma hom konkoro no koso nkyerɛkyerɛ ye na fe yehia mu biom aye nkomodie no nso atumi aso wani hira committee ne hira dofo no ne atiefo nyina ne presenters nyina kosisi be wie pɛ wo din mu na oba ya anyera wo Yesu Kristo din mu nti amen.
That's a pastor. If I'm sure penny for say announcement to be wa announcement be any ho be mu dia ene na ye de besia